Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pods. I am Leonardo.
Whoa! Good morning, students. And I'm Elizabeth.
Today, we are diving into something a little different, like really different.
Different good or different,
Oh, definitely different good. Today, we are exploring an essential topic for anyone looking to excel in English. So today, let's really dive deep into the IELTS exam
Okay.
and figure out all the ins and outs.
That's good.
Let's demystify this whole thing.
Yeah, let's break this whole big challenge down into
Yeah.
smaller pieces we can actually handle.
Right.
First things first, you probably heard there are two types of IELTS exams. So let's figure out which one is actually the right fit for you.
Okay, perfect.
Oh?
So we've got the IELTS academic,
Yeah.
and then we've got the IELTS general training.
Uh-huh.
So are you maybe picturing yourself in a big lecture hall, really diving deep into some academic research?
Gotcha.
That sounds like you.
If that's the case, then the academic test is probably what you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's specifically designed for people who want to go for higher education,
Well,
or maybe even professional registration in a country where they speak English.
right. Okay, but what if someone's goal
Yeah.
is more about working or moving to a different country?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's different.
Not necessarily the academic route.
If you're more focused on working or migrating abroad,
Right.
then you'd want to prep for the general training test.
Okay.
That one zeroes in on those everyday English skills you'd need
Yeah.
in a workplace or just out and about in social situations.
It's more practical English.
Exactly.
Awesome. And here's the good news.
Okay, tell me.
Both of these exams,
Yeah?
they actually follow the same format.
Okay.
And they use the same scoring system.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to learn two completely different sets of rules.
Makes it a little easier.
Right, exactly. So that's a good thing.
It is.
So think of the scoring system kind of like you're climbing a mountain.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
All right, so each step as you're going up
Uh-huh.
represents a higher band score,
Okay.
and it goes from 1 all the way up to 9.
So what does it really mean
Yeah,
to get a 6 or an 8 on the exam?
good question.
In practical terms, what does that actually mean?
So let's say you score a 6.
Yeah.
That means you can communicate pretty effectively.
Okay.
Even if you make a few grammar mistakes here and there,
Uh-huh.
it shows that you're comfortable having a conversation in English.
Okay, that makes sense. So what about an 8?
An 8 that's reaching a higher peak on that mountain,
Nice.
it means you've got a really strong command of English, including nuanced vocabulary and grammar.
Wow.
Think of it like being able to talk about complicated topics
Yeah.
easily and fluently.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture here.
Good.
But this mountain, it's got a few different trails, right?
It does.
We've got the 4 sections,
Yeah.
listening, reading, writing, and speaking.
Each section gets its own band score.
Okay.
Then they all get averaged together
Uh-huh.
to give you that overall band score.
Okay, perfect. So let's take these on one by one.
Sounds good.
So first up, we've got listening.
All right, get those ears ready.
Okay.
You'll be listening to all sorts of different real-life recordings.
Okay.
It could be conversations happening in a cafe
Yeah.
or lectures at a university,
Oh, wow.
maybe even radio broadcasts.
So it's a variety of different things.
It is.
Do they ever throw in some tricky accents?
Oh, absolutely.
Just to make things interesting.
Yeah, you'll hear a bunch of different accents, which, reflects how diverse English speakers are all around the world.
Right.
And the questions, they'll cover a mix of stuff.
Okay.
Some will be about factual details, and then others will be about, understanding what the speakers are really trying to say.
Okay.
Their intentions and their attitudes.
So it's not just about understanding the words.
Right.
It's understanding the meaning behind them.
Exactly. It's all about active listening.
Okay.
So my advice would be to practice listening to a bunch of different English audio.
Yeah.
Things like podcasts or news reports. Even movies can help.
Okay.
It'll train your ear, and you'll feel much more confident going into the exam.
That's a great tip. I'm going to do that.
Awesome.
All right. So next up, we've got reading.
Okay, so remember how we talked about the two types of IELTS exams?
Yeah.
This is where things change a bit,
Okay.
at least in terms of the content.
Gotcha. So if you're taking the academic test.
Right, if you're on the academic track.
Yeah.
Get ready to tackle some longer and more complex texts.
What kind of things are we talking about?
Oh, things like journal articles,
Oh, wow.
research papers, maybe even excerpts from textbooks.
Yeah, that sounds pretty academic.
It is.
Okay, what about general training? What are they looking at?
So for general training, you'll be focusing on stuff that's a bit more practical.
Okay.
Things like workplace documents, advertisements,
Right.
and newspaper articles.
Gotcha. Okay, so like real-world stuff.
Exactly. And the key here is speed and comprehension.
Okay.
You got to be able to skim and scan effectively
Right.
to find the information you need to answer the questions.
That's a good skill to have, like,
How-
in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are skills that'll help you out in life, too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now let's move on to writing.
Okay.
Get ready to buckle up because this one has 2 tasks.
2 tasks.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
So task 1 is all about summarizing visual information.
Okay.
You might be asked to describe a graph or a chart,
Uh-huh.
maybe even a process. The main thing is to present the information clearly and accurately.
Gotcha. So it's like taking the visuals and putting it into words.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about task 2? That's the essay, right?
Yeah, that's the one, but don't worry too much.
Okay.
It's your chance to really shine.
Okay.
Show off your ability to present a well-structured argument.
Okay.
So they'll give you a prompt, and you'll need to write a 250-word essay
Okay.
supporting your viewpoint.
So you got to take a stance.
You do.
All right. Do you have any like pro tips for writing a really good essay?
Absolutely. The biggest thing is to plan your essay before you even start writing.
Okay. So don't just jump right in.
Now, take some time to brainstorm your main arguments.
Yeah.
Think about the evidence you're going to use
Uh-huh.
and make a little outline of your structure
Right.
that'll help you stay focused and make sure your argument is clear and coherent.
That makes sense.
And another thing, practice using connecting words and phrases
Yeah.
to make your writing flow nicely.
Right. So it's not just like choppy sentences.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it. Planning is key.
It is.
All right. So we've listened. We've written.
Right.
Now it's time for speaking.
All right, so the speaking section is all about seeing how well you can communicate
Okay.
in a face-to-face interview.
Okay.
But it's not like an interrogation or anything. It's more like just having a conversation.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's a little more relaxed than people think.
So what can I expect during the speaking section?
There are 3 parts.
Okay.
So first, you'll introduce yourself and
Right.
answer a few basic questions about your life.
Okay. Easy enough.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
What's next?
Then they'll give you a topic card,
Okay.
and you'll have 1 minute to prep a short little talk.
Okay.
Then you'll speak for about 2 minutes,
Okay.
sharing your thoughts and experiences
Uh-huh.
that relate to the topic.
Okay. So you got to think on your feet a little bit,
Yeah, a little bit.
but it sounds kind of fun.
It can be.
Okay. And then what's the last part?
So the last part is a more in-depth discussion with the examiner about that same topic.
Okay.
So this is your chance to really show off your vocabulary
Yeah.
and prove that you can engage in a conversation.
Right. Like hold your own in a conversation.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. This deep dive has been super insightful.
I'm glad to hear that.
We covered the different types of IELTS exams,
Mm-hmm.
the band score system.
Yep.
And then we went through all 4 sections in detail.
We did.
But I think the biggest takeaway for me
Okay, what's that?
is how important it is to practice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And not just like general practice, but like really targeted practice.
Right, you got to familiarize yourself with the format.
Yeah.
But that's just the beginning.
Uh-huh.
You need to put in the time,
Oh,
practice each skill really diligently,
right.
and figure out what your weak areas are so you can focus on those.
Yeah. And there are so many resources out there that can help,
There are.
practice tests, study guides, online courses.
Right.
You can even find language partners to practice with.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. So here's a final thought.
Okay.
Think about your learning style.
Okay.
Do you learn best by listening,
Yeah.
by reading, by writing, by speaking?
Right?
Kind of figure out what works best for you
Uh-huh.
and then tailor your practice
Yeah.
to really use your strengths
Right.
and then work on those areas where you might need a little extra help.
That's a great point.
Yeah. All right. So you want to crush this IELTS exam, huh?
Seems like this is a mountain of prep material.
Well, yeah, the IELTS can be kind of intimidating, right? All those different sections, the band scores.
A lot of people, just jump into practicing.
Oh, without really understanding the exam.
Exactly, like baking a cake without a recipe.
Okay, so understanding the exam is step 1. It's the International English Language Testing System, right?
Right. Used by tons of organizations, universities, employers.
Even immigration departments. Wow.
To figure out your English proficiency.
And over 10,000 organizations use it globally. I read that on Reply.
Yeah, that's why the format, knowing it inside and out, is so crucial.
So before textbooks, we need to know what each section is.
How it's graded, what those band scores mean, the whole 9 yards.
It makes sense, like having a roadmap before a road trip.
Precisely. You wouldn't just start driving randomly.
Not if I want to reach my destination, that's for sure.
And we've got great insights here from IELTS Liz, the British Council.
Oh, and that successful test taker, Sarah.
Right.
Yeah, scored an 8.5 on her first try.
8.5. Wow. What was her secret? Spill the tea.
She studied smart, not just hard, from what I read on IELTS Liz's website.
Oh.
Sarah knew the marking scheme, the criteria for each section.
So she knew what the examiners were looking for.
Exactly. Allowed her to prep better, focus on the key stuff.
Not just knowing English, but how IELTS tests it.
Exactly. And you don't need to be perfect, you know.
Oh, that's good to hear. Less pressure.
Reply says, for Band 6 in academic reading, you only need 23 out of 40 correct answers.
Okay, phew. So we need the format, the grading, and we don't need perfection. What else?
Now it gets fun. Go beyond textbooks. Immerse yourself in English.
Ooh, I like that. What does that look like, though?
Reply and the British Council have some good tips, not just vocab lists.
Okay, so what, like talking to English-speaking friends?
That's one, watching movies or TV shows in English.
I do that already. Does that really help?
It all adds up. Even playing video games in English, chatting with other players.
Yeah. Making English part of your life, not just studying it.
Exactly. And the British Council recommends shadowing.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Mimicking a native speaker's pronunciation, intonation, everything.
Like you're their shadow, catching all the nuances. I bet that's super helpful for pronunciation and fluency. So we've got understanding the exam, immersing ourselves. What else can we do?
Let's talk test-taking strategies, straight from those who aced it.
Ooh, yes. Sarah, our IELTS superstar, what did she do?
Okay, for the listening section, especially if you miss a question.
Oh, that's my weakness. I get flustered.
IELTS Liz shared Sarah's advice. Don't dwell on it. Move on.
Just keep going. But what if I miss more?
You'll have time to review at the end. Dwelling just throws you off.
Makes sense. It's like when you lose your keys, panicking makes it worse.
Exactly. Stay present. Focus on the current question. Now, for reading,
Okay, hit me with it.
Sarah read the questions before the passage.
Wait, seriously? I always thought you read the passage first.
A lot of people do, but Sarah's way is more strategic.
So you know what you're looking for, you become an active reader.
Exactly. Scanning for specifics, not just absorbing everything, like a shopping list at the grocery store.
You go straight for what you need.
And I learned from IDP in some tasks, like true, false, not given,
Oh, yeah.
or multiple choice, the answers often appear in order in the passage.
That's a good tip. Less time wasted reading the whole thing.
Right. Now let's conquer the beast. Writing. 2 essays in 1 hour.
Daunting is an understatement.
Remember, quality over quantity, don't stress about length.
Okay, good point.
For task 1, describing data, use precise vocabulary.
Show off those English skills.
Exactly. Sarah suggests instead of goes up,
Which is pretty basic, yeah.
use peaked at or soared. More sophisticated.
Subtle, but important. What about task 2, the argument essay? Are there right answers?
IELTS, Liz says no right or wrong ideas, just well-supported arguments.
So clear structure, strong support. That's the key.
Yes. And Sarah suggests the 5-paragraph structure. Intro, body paragraphs, conclusion.
Classic. Any other prep tips for task 2?
The British Council suggests practicing with common IELTS topics beforehand.
Not memorizing essays, but having ideas and vocabulary ready.
Exactly, like a mental toolbox you can pull from. Now on to the dreaded speaking test.
Oh, that one makes me nervous just thinking about it.
Don't worry, it's more about communicating effectively than general knowledge.
So even if I don't know much about the topic, I can still show off my English.
Exactly. Sarah emphasizes verb tenses.
Oh, right. Got to get those right.
And having a bank of ideas and vocabulary ready.
Not memorized answers, though, right? That sounds robotic.
Right. Keith, who runs that IELTS Speaking Success YouTube channel, suggests.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
Preparing ideas and vocabulary around common topics keeps you flexible.
A mental toolkit, not a script. Got it. We've covered so much. The format, strategies.
But there's more. Resources and support are crucial.
True. It's easy to get lost in all the IELTS prep stuff out there. Where do we even start?
Official IELTS resources are your best friend. Practice papers, free courses, their websites.
Okay, makes sense. Straight from the source. But what about those blogs and YouTube channels everyone talks about?
They can be great, especially for insights from others. But be careful.
Yeah, not everything online is good quality.
Exactly. Stick to credible sources. Make sure the info's up to date.
In our research, we saw IELTS, Liz, of course, Fast Track IELTS, the All Ears English podcast.
All great options. And Perplay mentions the value of a tutor.
Someone to give you that personalized feedback and support.
Exactly, like having a coach in your corner. Speaking of support, we should talk about test day planning.
Oh yeah, good point. All this prep is great, but those last few hours before the exam, nerve-wracking.
You need a game plan to walk in there confident and ready.
All right, lay it on me. What are the must-dos?
Logistics first. Map out your route to the test center beforehand, especially if it's unfamiliar.
Perplay really stressed that one.
You don't want to be late or stressed about traffic on exam day.
Nope, not a good start. So map it out. What else?
Double check what to bring. ID, water, maybe a snack. No watches allowed, though.
Got it. ID, hydration, and a clear mind. What about food and caffeine? Coffee for alertness, or is that a bad idea?
It depends how you react to it. You don't want jitters or bathroom breaks during the exam.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, logistics covered. What about mentally preparing? Any rituals or mindset shifts?
The British Council has a great one. Might sound a bit odd.
Let's hear it.
Warm up for the speaking test by speaking only English for 24 hours beforehand.
Wow, full immersion. I like it.
And remember, the IELTS is a marathon, not a sprint. Be prepared to be there a while.
Speaking of which, Ijaya from Fast Track IELTS said to expect about 4 hours at the test center.
Registration, transitions, it adds up. Having realistic expectations helps. And preparation manages nerves.
Yeah, the more you visualize the day, the more confident you'll feel, turning nervous energy into focused energy.
Exactly. So we've got the format, study methods, test-taking skills, and the test day plan. Feeling ready to tackle this thing.
I'm getting there. It feels like we have a real roadmap now.
We do. But before we move on, remember, the IELTS is challenging, yes, but achievable.
With the right approach, we can do this.
Exactly. Now, a final thought for you. Think about what part of the IELTS scares you most.
I'm thinking.
Now, what one action can you take today to tackle that fear?
Ooh, good question. Like booking a tutor, a practice speaking test?
Reading up on grammar, whatever it is, turn information into action.
Love that. Not just knowing, but doing.
Exactly. Take that step and you've got this. We'd love to hear how it goes.
We're rooting for you. Until next time, happy studying.
You know, thinking about all these tips and strategies, it makes me think of the IELTS journey, like climbing a mountain.
Ooh, I like that. Challenging climb,
Yeah.
endurance, and that amazing feeling when you reach the top.
Exactly. But there are tough parts, right? Steep paths, bad weather. You might even doubt yourself.
Like, can I really do this?
Yeah.
But that's where having the right gear helps. A good plan, a strong team.
Exactly. Those test-taking strategies, stress management, reliable resources, those are your tools.
For navigating the tough parts, staying on track. Like a map, compass, and experienced guides.
Right. But even with all that, you need one more thing. Resilience.
Can't buy that in a store.
Nope. Because the path to IELTS success, it's not always smooth sailing. Bumps, doubts, setbacks.
It's a tough exam. It's okay to feel frustrated sometimes.
Totally. And that's when resilience kicks in, that ability to bounce back.
That grit factor, the I'm not giving up attitude.
Yes. And resilience, you build it over time. It's not just something you have.
So how do we get more of that?
One way. See those tough moments as chances to learn. Every expert was a beginner once.
And every successful test taker hits some roadblocks along the way. It's about loving the process, right?
Well, maybe not love the IELTS prep itself.
Fair enough. But connect with your why. That keeps you going.
Exactly. Another thing, build a support system around you.
Friends, a study group, a tutor,
Yeah.
people who get it.
They can offer encouragement, remind you you're not alone.
Sometimes just a kind word or some advice can make all the difference.
Like cheerleaders on the sidelines, keeping you motivated.
And it's not just about getting support, it's about giving it too.
Oh, absolutely. Share your experiences, encourage others.
Celebrate each other's wins. It creates this positive energy.
A culture of support where everyone feels empowered to succeed.
Speaking of empowerment, I want to go back to something we mentioned.
Oh, what's that?
Seeing the IELTS as a launch pad, not just a hurdle.
Love that. Not an end in itself, but a stepping stone.
To something bigger, something you really want.
Picture it. Studying abroad, that dream job, talking to people from all over.
Unlocking your potential, being a global citizen.
Yes. As we wrap up this deep dive, remember, success isn't just the score.
It's the whole journey. What you learn, how you grow.
Pushing your boundaries, facing challenges, becoming more confident.
Who knows? Maybe this sparks a love of languages, a desire to travel.
Endless possibilities. So To everyone listening, no matter your why,
You have the power to reach your goals.
believe in yourself, embrace the challenge.
And never stop exploring the world of possibilities waiting for you.
Happy studying. We're excited to see what you achieve. We've talked about a lot of practical stuff, but there's also the mental game, right?
Wait, for sure. Staying positive, motivated, all that.
Exactly. And one technique that can really help is visualization.
Oh, interesting. Like picturing yourself acing the exam.
Exactly. Athletes use it, performers, all sorts of successful people.
Yeah, I've heard of that. But how does it work for the IELTS?
Imagine yourself walking into the exam room. You're calm, confident, prepared.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You've got your strategies, you've practiced, you're ready to show off your skills.
Then I'm not freaking out for once.
Exactly. You can even visualize specific things, like answering speaking test questions confidently,
Okay, I'm picturing that now.
or reading those tough passages, writing amazing essays, all with a clear head.
It's like turning nervous energy into, I don't know, focused energy.
Exactly. The more you visualize success, the more your brain believes it's possible.
Instead of thinking, what if I fail? It's more like, I've got this.
Yes. And visualize beyond the exam, too. Imagine that life you want after a good IELTS score.
Oh, right. Studying abroad, that dream job.
Communicating easily with people all over the world.
Connecting with that why, letting it fuel you.
Exactly. The IELTS becomes a stepping stone, not just a giant obstacle.
So true. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, it's good to remember that success isn't just the score, right?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's the whole journey, what we learn, how we grow along the way.
Pushing ourselves, trying new things, becoming more confident.
Who knows, maybe someone listening will discover a love of languages, a passion for travel.
Exactly. The possibilities are out there. So, to everyone listening, as you start your IELTS journey,
Remember, you've got this.
believe in yourselves, embrace the challenge, and don't stop exploring those possibilities that are waiting for you. Happy studying. We're excited to see what you achieve.
That's it for this deep dive into the IELTS. We hope you feel more prepared, more confident, and ready to tackle this exam. Remember all the tips and strategies we've discussed, and don't be afraid to reach out for support when you need it. There's a whole community of IELTS test takers out there, all going through the same thing. Share your experiences, encourage each other, and celebrate those victories along the way. And most importantly, never lose sight of your why. Let those dreams and aspirations be your guiding light, your source of motivation, and your reminder that all the hard work will be worth it in the end. We're cheering you on every step of the way. Until next time, happy studying and best of luck on your IELTS journey.